Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. Today, we're going to be reviewing some of the clips from the Fresh and Fit podcast that they did with, let's see. Oh, yeah. The girl who you know what? I never really know if she records it across the pond. Some recent videos that I have seen, I can't really tell if it's the case. I've seen videos that say that her parents built her recording studio here in America. And of course, who I am referring to is just Pearly Things, aka Pearl Davis, I believe is her name. They did a little dubsy wubsy, a little joint session. I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, I'm never surprised by anything anymore in the YouTube realm. A lot of times, often, unfortunately, it's just words. Oftentimes, it doesn't mean anything. I try for myself that not to be the case. What I say, I try absolutely my darndest to apply it in my real life and be things that I actually do. Anything that I say, I firmly believe. Contrary to maybe some trolls' beliefs, but it comes with the territory of making content like this. And I could have sworn I do know for a fact that Fresh and Fit have talked about, and I've talked about it too. Really, in any YouTube podcasting niche, you have the infiltration of women, but you really have it in the dating's coached, especially towards men, manosphere, red pill kind of niche of YouTube or content creation, that essentially they are really just spewing what they hear. They're just reiterating what they hear, but they can never firmly understand it because they themselves are not men. They haven't gone through what men have gone through, especially when it comes to intersexual dynamics. Now, my thought on it is, for certain things, I think it's okay. I'm happy that there are some male advocates by way of women. The more the better. But I am a firm believer also that if you want to catch a fish, you have to ask the fisherman, not the fish. And listening to female dating coaches is totally a fool's errand. And commonly, as I have shown in my clips and reactions over and over again, you don't listen to what women say, you watch what they do. And the clips that we're going to watch, there's one that is like the biggest fucking red pill I have seen from Fresh and Fit's podcasts. It was pure gold. I don't know if I'm going to do a separate one because there's two distinct themes that I want to react to. One, there's this woman who has commonly been on Just Pearly Things many times. She's one of the most frequent guests, and she just totally displayed herself as obnoxious and totally a modern woman. Now, I will fully acknowledge that when you are on a podcast, you're on there to give your opinion. Okay, I fully acknowledge that. But again, how you present yourself is everything. How you compose yourself. Optics do matter. So let's watch the biggest red pill of them all. Like I said, I may end up making them two separate videos, but I could not believe this when I saw this. But so there's this one right here. And of course, I'm reacting to this from Law of Distraction and the pulling of the clip that this channel does. I think they're also in partnership with Sneako. I believe I saw a clip of that. But so it's interesting nonetheless to see Pearl. And I do think that Fresh has talked a little bit of shit about Pearl. Pearl has definitely talked shit about Fresh and Fit. She did apologize on this clip about it. Like I said, at the end of the day, guys, even with me, despite me saying that I try and apply it to my life as much as possible, and I try to live what I say to the best of my ability, at the end of the day, human beings are flawed individuals. And again, on YouTube, oftentimes it is just words, and you should not buy into anything wholesale. Okay. You should not literally take you should not be looking for anybody on here to be a savior, to be the dad that you didn't have, and to look at them that as though they can never be false and incorrect. That's not the case. We're all fallen individuals. We all are led astray by lies and deception and various things. So, you know, and the other point I want to make, though, is going back before we start the video, is that I think I am going to make them two separate videos. So we're actually going to be reacting to her saying that she left this high value man who made a lot of money, and she leaves him because he's too nice. But I do want to react to commonly red pill channels, for lack of a better term, saying that there's a infiltration of women and that they are basically, reptilian. They're camouflaging themselves, and they don't, in other words, they don't believe really truly what they're saying. They're doing it for clout. And I will be doing a video in the future on some exposing videos of Pearl Davis. And I will say right now, I don't have anything against Pearl Davis, but I believe in searching for truth, and I am open to different ways of viewing things, especially things that challenge my perceptions and worldview. But with regards to the red pill and the manosphere and dating niche saying what they say with regards to women in the space, there is a difference, and especially with saying that some of the women that are in that sphere being hypocrites and not truly believing what they say, and definitely not practicing what they preach. For example, one common criticism, which I would definitely levy myself against Pearl, is that for somebody who says that women shouldn't vote, and by the way, these are not like opinions per se that I disagree with, but just bear with me. This is just what she says, okay? It's not me saying I agree or disagree, all right? That women shouldn't vote, that women need to get back in the kitchen, that they need to get back in the household and be mothers and be more traditional and more feminine. Yet Pearl is a woman, is like the modernist woman of them all. She has her own YouTube channel. She employs multiple men who basically run the channel for her. And it's not like she's like super talented as far as a contributor, or, she's not. And I've even heard Rollo Tomasi say this. People don't subscribe to Pearl's channel because they find her particularly entertaining. It's because of the other people that come onto her panel. Okay. Whereas Fresh and Fit, I wouldn't say that that's always the case, because definitely when it comes to Myron, that, he can be entertaining at times, and funny, and yeah, just all around entertaining. But Pearl says all of that, but she is the modernist of women. Okay. She's not married. And at this point, she is literally living out the life of your average modern woman. Okay. She fully works. The only difference between her and your stereotypical, and again, this would be the argument against her, and your stereotypical modern woman is, one is the acknowledgments that she does make about society and what ought to be. As Andrew Wilson says, there's a difference between what is and what ought to be, okay, which I will circle back to. But, personally, I would not be surprised. In fact, I would bet on it that 5 years from now, she'll be doing the exact same thing, because as Myron says, the more money a woman makes, the more success that she gets in a professional life, the more her not the likelihood of her finding a man, a suitable man that fits all of her criteria will be, because women are hypergamous. They look for a man that is at their level or better. So women who make money also look for a man that makes money. If they're super successful and they're around super successful men, high value men, attractive men, they're women already have a high inflated sense of self-worth. When that's the case, it's way more extraordinary. So it becomes nearly impossible for them to find a man who actually meets those qualifications. You know, a perfect historical example of this is Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen, never got married. Why? Because how was she ever going to find a man that now she's long gone, she's dead, but she was never married. And the bottom line is, knowing what we know about hypergamy, and I'm sure it was known back then too, just in different words and different concepts and through different worldviews, is how in the world was she ever going to find a man who was at or above her level? She would have to marry a king of Spain or something like that. And even then, it would require her to essentially, especially at that given time in history, it would basically require her to give up her kingdom, because no king is going, a man at that level. And see, this is the real rub right here. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's hard enough to find that man, but it's even harder to find that man and have him be willing to give up certain things about him and his lifestyle for you, because the very things that made him that self-made man and very high status man are the things that would not allow him to give up certain things just for a woman. Okay. So that would get in the way of that. So Queen Elizabeth, let's just say hypothetically, she did find a king. You think a king is going to get rid of his kingdom so that he can become the husband of Queen Elizabeth? Fuck no. Fuck no. That would be the biggest simp in the world. So there, that's a valid criticism. But my point is, my long drawn out point is that, and Andrew Wilson always says this, there's a difference between what should be and what ought to be. And just because, and I've seen this in many debates with that Andrew is involved in, just because someone argues for a certain worldview, but in actuality lives out another, doesn't negate the truth within what they are arguing for, the worldview that they promote and push for. For example, just using the smoking thing as an example, you can be an advocate that smoking is bad and still be a smoker, and it doesn't take away from the truth that smoking is bad and you shouldn't do it. Now, does it make it harder for people to hear your message? Sure, but that doesn't take away from the validity of the truth behind the message. So anyways, let's watch this video. Nonetheless, suffice it to say, I was very surprised to see them collabing, but then again, not really, because YouTube is what it is. So let's listen to this. Double speed, of course, or 1.25, and we'll get rolling.
Him for that reason.
But so what's the reason?
He made some very rash decisions. Like, he did something really stupid at one point.
Can you tell us what the things were? I mean, I know it's like personal, but can you be a bit specific, just out of interest?
Yeah, it's like, the person was a people pleaser.
What?
Like, not just with me, but with like the family, his friends. It was like the people around him. He was just.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, so he was too nice. He was too nice a guy.
He's a really nice guy.
Can I? I have a question for you guys. Can I ask a question?
I was very happy with him. I did not leave him for that reason.
But
he made some very rash decisions. Like, he did something really stupid at one point. Like, we were supposed to be getting engaged and married.
Again, don't listen to what women say. Watch what they do, because women will always tell on themselves, and they will contradict themselves in a matter of moments. She did it in less than 2 seconds here.
This year, and he suddenly goes,
of course, on 1.25 speed, of course.
And invests like so much money into some random business just because his friends convinced him to. I was not okay with that.
I want that for the ring instead.
Well, yo, you be supportive of his dreams?
Hold on. Did you talk to
so true, bro. That is so true. When I watched it, even before Myron said that, that's exactly what I thought. That she didn't like the investment that he made because, of course, for her, and this is what women do, guys, and you guys need to know this. Women, when it comes to men, are constantly looking for what the man can provide them. That's why when women say that they're willing to go 50-50 and this and that, it's complete bullshit. Number one, you're not going to get the same 50 that you would give her. It'd be a totally different 50. All right. But, and she's not going to respect you the way that you would want in the first place. But two is women are looking for what you can provide them. It's in their nature. And before modern times, the ease in which we live, it was required. They needed it. In fact, that was the total backing of arranged marriage, which is what can this man, this family provide my family, and thus me as a woman, the father making sure that the woman, that his daughter would be well taken care of. So that is absolutely in a woman's natural being to think about. Now, ultimately, though, what makes for a good woman, and I don't necessarily fault her for that per se, but what makes a good woman and a woman that's a keeper is a woman who acknowledges that and is honest about that, and also realizes, well, but it's my job as a wife or a girlfriend to support my man and his dreams and his goals, and to be his peace, not to give him more problems as he's out there trying to slay dragons. Okay. So that is ultimately where this needs to be brought around to. Any ladies watching my videos, I would say anytime you see your man spending money, of course you're going to question it. That's only natural. But where the rubber needs to meet the road for you is you need to have a true introspection where you say, you know what? I'm with this man for a reason. I trust him. He's competent. Now, obviously, not all women feel that way about their man, and that's too bad. But assuming that you do, which is a big assumption, I understand, you need to remind yourself that you trust this man, you respect this man, and he is doing what is best with the money for the family. So you need to be his peace, not his problems, not another headache, and support him. Okay, because it's really not going to succeed if you are making it that much harder and stressing him out that much more. It's really not going to succeed then.
Parents about this, or your brother or some shit?
Yeah, my family met him. Yeah.
And what did they tell you when you said, I'm going to leave? Was he Arab himself?
He was Pakistani. My brother is in support of me leaving him. But my mum is like kind of like, oh my God, you're 29. You need to get married.
No, your mom sees what it is.
She's panicking. But my brother's like, no.
Because she knows the truth.
Yeah, Mama Bear fucking based. Mama Bear fucking based. Damn.
One better.
Well, your brother knows his friend.
And my brother's 17, and he.
What the hell? He's a kid.
Yeah, but he's very.
He's a kid. Yeah, you don't know
You're
shit.
30 years old.
Oh my gosh,
Nigga.
And she said that with full confidence. She said that with not even batting an eye, bro. Not even batting an eye. He's 17. I'm gonna defer to his judgment. I'm gonna defer to him supporting my whims and bullshit thinking as a woman. Man,
Hold on. She went off a teenager.
You let a kid tell you what to do.
Drink alcohol.
Yeah.
She listened to a minor about her
Competing
life.
drive. Oh shit, I'm gonna crush your car. Yo,
Shout out to my brother.
that's
Yo.
crazy.
What the fuck?
No, I know what I'm doing.
That nigga being off right now, and you over
I
here
know what I'm
listening to him.
doing.
What the fuck?
I know what I'm doing. He wasn't my husband. I know what I'm doing.
Yo.
And she values.
that's crazy, bro. Wow, you cannot make this shit up, man. You cannot make this shit up. As I said, brah, women will always tell on themselves. They will always tell on themselves. And you know why that is? I used to be very surprised by that. But and it's not that women are bad at deception. They're actually quite good at it. But I used to be surprised by the fact that they would so readily tell on themselves like this. But the thing is, it's not really all that surprising when you realize that women and men live in totally different worlds, and women don't have the consequences for the incompetence and bullshit that they spew out of their mouths. They just don't. And very few will actually check it and say, yo, that's some fucking bullshit that you just said. No, that's stupid what you're doing. Very few will do that in their lives. So, you know, there's really no hesitancy. They're totally deep down inside okay with it because they know there will be zero consequences for it. So
So happy.
I value myself so much. I have so much respect for myself. I bring so much to the table.
How long have you been together?
I will meet my husband.
How long have you been
he
together?
wasn't that person.
How long have you been together?
I knew you were going to dump him. I just want you to know the past year I knew you were going to dump him.
Really?
Yeah, based on how you spoke about him, I knew. I already know. Yeah, because
We don't miss.
yeah, it was because you valued. I could tell you liked his resources more than him by the way you spoke about him.
Damn.
I could tell he was like a rich.
So you are a
guy.
gold
He seemed
digger.
like, if I'm guessing.
So you
if I'm-
are.
Well, you
Yeah.
left him. You got a good heart then.
I could tell.
but you know, the thing is, Fresh, and you know this better than anybody, my dude, Fresh. All women are gold diggers to a certain degree. Again, that's a red pill as a man you must realize. Okay.
I could no. Sorry, that sounded really harsh. I didn't mean it to be, but
Yeah.
it sounded like when I heard you talk about him, I guessed rich dork. That's what I guessed.
You know what it is? It wasn't
I don't
even that.
know. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off. So I don't know. But that was just.
And that is true. The epitome or the picture perfect rich dork. How many times have you seen that? This fine ass girl with a dude that is so obviously a nerd, weak, disheveled, but he makes money and he provides the resources element of a woman's attraction. Now, a woman like that is at high risk of cheating and stepping out on that man. Doesn't always happen, obviously, but it's far more likely to happen. So again, I would just encourage not to be that man. Fucking, even if you are more of a nerd, a Star Wars guy, you need to do things that build up your masculinity and your strength. You just do. Or else you're totally going to get ran over.
Just based on how you talked about him.
It was more so like he just lacked boundaries, and that's very important for me.
But the thing is, boundaries.
Yeah, you gotta tell you, shut up.
boundaries.
Yo, look, put the fuck camera on you, man. That's why I tell you motherfuckers, bro. Women deserve less booking stores right now.
Yeah.
So in real time, guys, I'm sorry. Even this, Myron is right. I have to point this out myself. So women have, unlike men, women have multiple attraction points. Now, some are okay leaning on one far more than the other and essentially being able to get by or get past guy not meeting the other attraction points. But I would say most of the time that's not the case. Most of the time women are looking for a little bit of everything. Now, obviously that's not feasible, but in general, as a man, I would say the best thing you can do to protect yourself is to be as strong as you can at each facet of your life. It should, and again, for me, this is my sports background. You get in the lab, you work on the things that you are your weaknesses, and you refine the things that you're naturally good at. Nobody is perfect right off the bat. It requires work and dedication. But in real time, you're seeing she was willing to have those attraction points not met just so long as he did everything that she wanted, essentially. But as soon as that didn't happen, she dropped his ass like a sack of potatoes. And that was that. All right, let's keep watching, guys. This is pure gold.
I tell you guys this shit all the time. They don't know what the fuck they want. You're
No,
a
I
nice
know what I
guy.
want.
Be quiet. You're a nice guy. You make money. You're successful. Oh, I'm going to give you the world, all this other shit. You go ahead and you invest and make more money for the relationship, by the way. And girls get mad, like, that got to be used by engagement. And they break up with you. Bro, that's why I tell y'all, man, have the frame, man. Have the frame. This example of a guy that's
Wait,
a pussy.
boundary, but here's the thing.
He had no
boundary-
frame, and that's why she left him.
Yeah, frame is very important. And that's why this goes counter to the more tradcon way of thinking But that is why somebody like Myron would say that you need to, before entering into marriage as a man, you need to have been experienced with women. And honestly, guys, I don't think historically, like if we look at monarchies and societies that were dictated by the papacy, I mean, I'm more familiar with that than countries that were under Orthodox rule. But it was common for nobles and within a monarchy to have their betrothed spouse, okay, but also have a mistress and what they call courtiers and or whatever the fuck it's called, and go about it that way. Okay. Now, obviously, sex out of marriage is a sin. It is. I'm not going to say it's not, but I also don't think it's that black and white. And at the very least, okay, let's take this to its most extreme. Let's say that it is that black and white. And let's say that it is a sin, which I fully acknowledge it is, to have sex out of wedlock or out of marriage, wedlock. At the very least, what you can do as a man is put yourself in a position to be around women, even in a slightly romantic way, just without the sex part. But that is easier said than done, because we see how often guys think with their little head rather than their big head, and how easily they can their defenses can collapse. Okay, so I would not necessarily urge that either, but nonetheless, that is why Myron says that you need to have practice with women, because you need to be able to hold frame. If you can't hold frame, it's all over.
Boundaries are for guys. This is what I learned. Boundaries are for guys you don't really like.
What do you even mean by
No. He didn't have rules on her.
Yeah,
She did whatever she wanted.
So
Is that how you mean? Is that how you
okay.
mean it?
No, so he would never ever express.
Never
his-
ever.
Like he would never say, "These are the rules. I don't want you doing this. I don't."
He would never say, like, he would never give me rules and tell me shut the fuck up. And, he would just fucking do this and he would do that. And I fucking hate the British accent, bro. I fucking hate it.
Yes.
So when I would
no
go
frame.
go and do something, he would hold it against me.
Fuck it, the red pills are dropping. The red pills are dropping from the sky,
fuck,
man.
He would bottle it up. He would bottle it up, and then one day, what he would do is he would try and get revenge on me. So, for example,
Passive aggressive.
Yeah, passive aggressive. So,
Feminine
for
trait.
example, I went to a place called Tramp here in
So, for example, I went to a place called Tramp and I fucking...
London.
Oh my God.
Red
You
flag.
can't make this up.
No,
You can't make this up.
Hold on a
No,
second.
no.
For dinner, I went there for dinner. I did not go to the party. I
Dinner.
went with my friend
I went
for
there
dinner.
for dinner.
And I
And I went to the
Yeah.
trap house to get medicine.
He knew I was out. I was speaking to him the whole night. I even sent him pictures of my lobster pasta, and he was like, "Oh yeah, enjoy yourself." Blah blah blah. Anyway, a few weeks later, like I didn't say that I went
paid
to
for that
Tramp.
dinner?
My friend was on the phone to me, and
Who paid for the dinner?
Sorry,
Who paid for that
me
dinner?
and I paid for myself. My friend paid for herself.
You went just with you and your girlfriend?
Me and my girl, yeah. And he knew.
Yeah,
'Cause
so what was the
he
issue
knows that friend because she always drops me home, and he knows like I'm okay with her.
So why did it become an issue then?
So, because I didn't say that I was specifically at Tramp. So he had a
Right.
problem with that for some reason. He's like, why didn't you say you was in Tramp? A week later, he decided to go to Paris.
For some reason, bruh, it's scandalous that you don't see. Fuck, bro. That's little shit. Like, that's a testing of frame right there. Her doing that. Okay. And he did the right thing. Now, he did it incorrectly by being passive aggressive. That's not what men do, or masculine man. That's not masculine way to go about it. But by her leaving out that detail, it was her unconsciously shit testing him. And because she knows that her leaving out a detail of being at a club, getting crunk, was a very important detail, much more than what she's leading on.
Randomly with his friends, didn't tell me, acted like he was in a country. And I'm like, things like that, you're just playing games. I don't mess with things like that. Like, be a man and say it with your chest. In the start, tell me I'm not okay with
And
you
these-
going.
Probably the most honest thing she has said the entire podcast, which you guys can watch, of course, on Fresh and Fit's channel, is what she just said. Be a man and say it with your chest. Probably the most accurate thing she has said.
Issues
basic.
either stay the same or
Don't
get
come
worse.
to me
They don't
2
get
weeks,
better.
3 weeks later, and then suddenly try and, have revenge on me. I don't play like that. So I
was
broke
revenge.
up with him.
AKA, you don't like him. Period.
No,
Bro,
I
It was
broke up with
revenge
him.
to go to Paris.
No, don't
This is
disrespect me like
this is
that.
actually a really good learning
Oh.
moment for the audience out there. This is an example of having money but still being a bitch, and you lose your girl. She only tolerated him because he had money.
Facts.
That's the only reason she tolerated him.
That's
Yeah.
not true. That's
no,
not
but
true. I cared about him, and he was an amazing person, and we were going to get married this year. Unfortunately, too many things.
If he didn't have the money, you wouldn't have been with him. You wouldn't have given him a
too
chance.
many things kept coming up, and I was like, I can't marry.
If he
this
didn't have the
person.
money, you wouldn't have let it last as long as it did, bro. Like, come on, man.
But it is an important learning. It is an important
Well,
learning
of
moment.
course,
It is a learning moment.
of
Because-
course.
Question.
Of
No,
course.
no, just quickly. It's an important
For
learning
guys
moment
out there to learn.
because guys, there are guys out there. Some guys think it's all about looks, right? But there's a big contingent of guys who think it's all about money.
Yes.
It's like if you've got money, that's it, you're sorted. And it's not true.
not true.
It's
That's
not
what
true
I've been
because you need
saying.
because you need the up.
She'll
but,
tolerate you,
Yeah.
and then if you spend that money for the engagement, she'll break up with you.
but you've got to have the reasons. You've got to
Yeah.
have the edge.
You gotta have everything.
You've got to have everything. Exactly.
Listen,
And notice she was following her path, not his path.
Yes.
You know what? The money that was supposed to be on the wedding, no, you know what? Fuck that. We're putting it towards our future for an investment. She said, you know what? Fuck that. It should be towards the wedding.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it was your path, not his path.
I don't want to be an asshole, but I've said this in my book. Most women want to get married, but they don't want to be wives.
Yeah.
No, how
Yes,
about
so
you say
true,
that? But
dude.
that's showing me that he's perhaps not making mature decisions and being quite reckless and maybe
made
putting my
an
life at risk.
investment.
He's putting my life at risk.
Stop. With all due respect, the guy had money when you met him, right?
Yeah.
So who the fuck are you to tell him how to invest?
Exactly. What
Exactly. Like, bro, get out of here, man.
What do you
It's
know?
at a time
like, yo,
where we
you're
are
with a nigga that
about
has
to get
money.
married. There is a huge difference. I've spoken to guys who also agreed with me. They're like, yeah,
no,
it's the wrong
no,
timing.
because here's the
They're
thing.
they're lying.
Dudes that
It's
got
the
money,
wrong time.
no. Dudes that got money, a lot of the times, like even the biggest simps will have some money somewhere else that you don't fucking know about. He might have had some money somewhere else. Maybe, maybe some crypto shit, whatever.
You don't know.
If he made an investment like that and he made the money in the first place, trust me, he probably knew what he was doing. And I find it amazing how he has more money than you, more competent than you, more successful than you, but you're trying to dictate how we invest the money that he worked for and say, that was the good.
But again, that just shows how wildly disconnected women are mentally and how wildly they overvalue themselves and their intelligence. Yeah, Myron's right. It is incredible that she is trying to give him any sort of, especially a guy who obviously has made money, trying to give him any sort of like strong feeling one way or the other, or assertion about how he should invest his money. That's ridiculous, bro. That's like me going up to an NBA basketball player and definitively saying, yo, you should have fucking shot that shot. Yo, you should have, you need to get in the gym and work on this. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. It is. Okay. Now, does it mean that it's always not true? I would say not. I mean, sometimes people can be correct even when they're talking to so-called expert in a particular field. But again, that is not her place as his woman. Her place is not to give him more stressors, but to give him more peace. And especially when he is shown to be competent in the area of making money.
Good decision. When the reality is women are 80% of the consumer base and you guys control 3/4 of debt. Y'all don't know how to spend no fucking money. Y'all are retards with money. No offense. It was the truth, objectively speaking. I got the numbers
I
to show
can
me.
agree with that one.
Loves the pasta.
Don't spend
But you
money,
over here
bro.
trying to tell a
It
rich
was
nigga how to
delicious.
invest his money, and you mags need to spend it on a fucking wedding.
Loves the pasta.
At Trump as well. Come on.
Trump.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I'm gonna
Why
keep it
not?
1,000. You might want to get back with him, man.
He wants me back, and
If
I
he's,
did
if
say
he's watching,
to him,
if he's watching now, have you got?
No. What I will say is, when we broke up, he was distraught, and I did say to him, if it's meant to be, we will actually find our way back.
You're controlling. That's
Yo.
the problem. That's your. No offense. I'm not.
God, I fucking hate it when people say that. If it's meant to be, we'll find a way back to each other. That is such bullshit, bro. That is like classic profundery that human beings tell themselves, a fake bullshit white lie that they put out into the ethosphere and like blowing a kiss and hoping for it to actually land on somebody's shit. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
I wouldn't go back to
either,
him. You're not
but
going to respect him.
You can't.
And that's worse. You
You
might
can't.
end up
You're
abusing
never
him.
gonna like guys you
Because
can
I know he's a
control.
good guy
You're
and he
never
has
gonna like
amazing
them.
qualities.
The problem
Like,
is,
I'm not blind
you know
to
what it
that.
is?
Yeah.
He can't tell her no. So the problem is she's
Yeah,
leading
too.
the whole interaction.
Yeah.
And if she chooses to get her way, oh, you know what? Fuck this guy.
And here's the other thing too. Like
Yeah.
if you knew breaking up with him, you would be like, fuck this bitch. I'm blocking her. I'm never talking to her again. You wouldn't have left him. You're leaving him because you're like, yo, I could probably do better. Because like right now you're like, okay.
She's leaving the door open.
You know what she did? This is what she did.
Yeah.
She basically left the casino up, and she was like, you know what? I could make a little more. Okay, I'm going back in. And she went back in the casino, but she don't realize the casino's going to close in about an hour.
I have a question.
No, because I had better before him, and I chose him because I wanted
Wait, you said
something
before.
different.
What also was
Because
going
I
on
had
before?
so many options before
Hold
him,
on.
and I didn't choose
Keyword
those
before.
people.
What happened before though?
What do you mean?
Like what you said before. That's a key word.
Like before I met him,
The other guys?
there was
No, you were younger back
many
then.
guys to
You were
choose
younger.
from.
Yeah, but you were younger.
what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Are you saying like guys with money?
And also, when women say this, they commonly leave out the detail of, okay, it was a friends with benefits situation. It was a hump and dump. It was a good old fashioned pump and dump. You know, something like that. Like, we don't know that those guys were definitive boyfriends to her or anything like that. Okay. And so yeah.
Or something like this.
I had many options, and I chose him because he was loyal.
And also, you know, especially with women, when they're speaking on their past, it's not a linear equation where, like, you know, how she definitively said that she was with guys that were better than him, which, by the way, in and of itself says a lot. But it's not a linear thing. For example, her attraction points back then, and Myron is right. She was younger than as well. Her market value was higher, but her attraction points, what was more important to her 2 years ago, may have been totally different than what it is now. In fact, I can almost guarantee it is, because women absolutely go through phases in their life when they're, you know, 16 to like 22, they're going for the bad boy, the Chad, the Tyrone. When they go after that, they're more kind of exploring more professional men to see kind of what balance they like. And then if they don't find, and so that period they really are exploring and hoping that they find the best man that they can get. But what ends up happening nowadays so frequently, see, previously that would be the time frame, if not earlier, that they would find the man and settle down with. But now Myron's right. What they end up doing is they think that they can do better, but they're not being honest with themselves about the reality of they're older, they're more used, they've been with more people, they've had more trauma, all these things that make them less appealing to a guy. And so, you know, the metaphor that he used about still being in the casino, he's right. That is exactly what she did. And that it's not just her, it happens a lot to women nowadays. And then, you know, Pat, like 22 to 26, after 26, they get into if they make it to this point, they get to the epiphany phase one way or the other. And especially if they don't have a steady, they get into crisis mode about finding now. And she's like well within the epiphany phase. Like it's over for, I guarantee she is not going to find a man to settle down with, because number one, she's not going to continue to be able to be with those high value men. And two, her standards are already super, super high as is. So, you know, this whole stage system and her acting like, excuse me, her attraction points are linear. They're just not. Women find different things more attractive and put more weight into it at different points in their lives. Okay. It's just the fact. Like, case in point, I remember, and this is anecdotal, but we all know this to be true. In high school and college, the guys who were getting the most play were the athletes. I know, because I was an athlete. And then you get out of that stage of your life and you get into the real world, and all of a sudden you look around and you're seeing women more often with kind of more nerdy, dorky guys. Why? Because they are meeting the provider attraction point and meeting the attraction point of a guy who will be loyal to them and only her and their family. So, you know, it's just what it is.
He was honest. He had all these amazing qualities. But it was when he started behaving like this and switching up and doing things like this, I was like, I can't marry this guy. This is scary.
I want to tell you something I noticed. Whenever women use the traits that you just said, like loyal, on like the stuff that you just said, they always dump them. Like I've just noticed that the past.
But the intention was not to dump him. The
You sound like you sound like you pity him.
It doesn't matter what your intention. Like men don't care about your intentions. They don't care. They look at what you do. And so if you're listing like he's loyal, he's honest, he's this, men are going to hear that and say, oh, well, if I'm loyal and honest and this to her, then she's gonna dump me too.
I mean, they're kind of not with all due respect, they're kind of anti-seductive qualities in a sense. Because if you think about the archetypal bad boy that women supposedly want, right? The James Bond, the Daniel Craig, is he loyal? Is he nurturing? Is he all
But I
those
chose him
things?
because he didn't have those things.
Right,
Okay.
but what gives you the tingles?
Was there a cheater before? I feel like there. I feel like there was a cheater
Yo,
before him.
you know what's funny?
I have a feeling.
Troy.
No, actually, never been with a
Yo, yo.
cheater. Never
Yo, yo, yo.
been with that many
Douchebag.
guys.
Real quick.
Asshole.
Troy,
No one-
she had fun with the guys that were fun, exciting, bad boys.
Yeah.
And so you know what? I'm getting older.
Yeah,
Time to
so
settle
now-
down. I'm gonna find a guy's loyal. They gotta take care of me and is somewhat nice to me.
Yeah.
So she chose this guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a nice guy with money doesn't mean frame. So by
Exactly,
default,
yeah.
you stayed in the game for a little bit. Oh, you know what? He's choosing money and
Have a
business
last
over me.
hurrah. Have a last
I'm
hurrah.
out. I'm out.
We're happier with a guy that cheats than a guy that's safe.
I don't know.
No,
Well said, Fresh. I'm going to stop it there. You guys can watch the rest of the clip on Law of Distraction. Well said, Fresh. Again, I wanted to play this clip to illustrate what we see so commonly in the red pill and manosphere space, which is the truth that the whole facade that we have been told about women being attracted in and of itself to niceness is a full-blown lie. Okay, women could give a fuck about that. It is not what gets them turned on. It is not what gives them the tingles, as the fucking British guy said. Okay, that it's just not one of their attraction points. And usually nice is what they assign to a nerd dorky guy that makes money, because it sounds a lot better to say that they are attracted to him being nice than it does to say that they are attracted to his money and his ability to provide. Okay. Women are very social creatures and are very aware of social stigma and shame. So they will rarely say the truth about what they are attracted by, because they know that it sounds shitty. When women are honest about their attractions, it sounds pretty fucking shitty. And not insecure, but whatever the fucking word, shallow. So in and of itself, they are not attracted to niceness. Okay. That is what they assign to the guys that make the money, which is the actual thing that they are attracted to. So again, if you are a guy that makes money, no sweat. Just, you got to refine the other parts of your game, become more masculine, figure out your frame, stand your ground, set boundaries of what you're okay with and what you're not. You, as a man, you have to, at all times, be willing to have any relationship with any woman end and be done at a moment's notice. Because as soon as you cross the threshold of you would not be able to make it and not be able to move on, you have completely entered into the box that is now hers. Okay. And she is now in total control of you and the relationship. It's sad, but it's true. And it doesn't mean, as Myron says, and I know it's kind of strange to say, but it really is true. You have love for women, but you don't fall in love with women. Okay. So you can show love and give love, but you also protect your heart, and you have to do that because that's the only way to maintain the relationship in the first place. Because a lot of betas and maybe even some tradcons will say, well, that's a fucking shitty and insecure way to, don't you want to believe in true love? Don't you believe in true love? Well, okay, well, yeah, that would be nice. All things nice, sugar and spice and all things. Yeah, of course, we want to believe in fairy tales and all that good stuff. But, if you're thinking about the actual goal of being with a woman, it is for the relationship to last. And therefore, if that is the goal, then you should be doing everything you can to maintain the relationship. And what that is certainly not at all times being nice no matter what. And really, when they say nice, they mean caving and acquiescing to every single one of her requests. No, that's not what that means. Okay. It means having boundaries. It means being able to be apart from that woman at any moment's time, and to be masculine. So that's all you got to do. If you make money, you have to just build up your masculinity, get into the gym, do some jiu-jitsu, start lifting weights, shit like that. But the whole nice thing is just complete and utter bullshit, because in and of itself, it's a tremendous lie. It doesn't mean true niceness. It doesn't. Because true niceness is very hard to describe. You know it when you see it, okay? Sometimes niceness doesn't mean just giving something to somebody. But when women say nice, that is what they're referring to. A man giving them and saying yes to everything that they want and ask for. So you don't want to be that guy. You saw the biggest red pill right here in what this woman said. Ultimately, she dumped the guy for the very same thing that she said that she liked about him, which is him being nice. So anyways, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, King. See you guys next time. Christ is King. Peace.